Portugal is of course very well known for its lively historical cities, Lisbon, Porto, Coimbra, Aveiro, and for the beaches of the Algarve, with their abundance of great fish restaurants where winter never seems to arrive. But there is another feature of this country which I think is worth serious consideration. Less than 1 hour north of Lisbon, you can find an absolute gem, especially if you are a backpacker and a fan of nature, of the ocean, and of surfing. This tiny peninsula, where the small town of Peniche is situated, with its surroundings, is such a unique place. It's become honestly one of my favorite locations in the entire European continent. I keep coming here again and again, especially when I want to take a break from city rhythms. There is many ways that you could enjoy life in this place. But let's start from the obvious one, surfing. Whatever your experience level, from absolute beginner who never caught a wave in his life to world-class athlete, this small area of Portugal has got something for you almost every day of the year. Thanks to the fact that it protrudes into the Atlantic and can catch swells from not one but 3 directions, unlike Ericeira or Nazaré. If you're a pro, next to the town of Peniche, there's the beach of Supertubos, which gets such perfect and powerful waves during peak swell season that it's been for many years one of the stops of the World Surf League in March. If you're more of a beginner or intermediate surfer, just drive 5 kilometers north to Baleal, where you've got these 2 wonderful beaches facing each other, Cantinho and Lagido. Here you can check the waves of several spots with 0 effort, without having to drive like crazy every day, with the board rentals and surfing schools right there on the beach. If there's no surfing to the right, just turn your head the other way and you're bound to see waves. But even if you're not interested in surfing, no worries. I still bet that you will find happiness coming here. Because honestly, I know very few beaches in the world like Baleal, with such a nice combination of empty space with fresh ocean breeze, fine and firm walkable sand, cozy cafes overlooking it, clean waters, great weather all year round, which never gets too hot or too cold, beautiful dramatic cliffs, sand dunes, no ugly buildings ruining the view, incredible fish restaurants with affordable prices, and an international community of young smart travelers. And if at sunset you're after some extra spectacular sight, you could visit this very unique rocky beach called Praia de Consolação. And you could have dinner in the iconic Sol e Vida fish restaurant, which is perched right here on the rocks. I keep wondering how it hasn't been swept away by the waves yet. Or maybe you could go the other way, to admire the protected beaches of Almagreira and Pico da Mota, with their unbelievable red cliffs, which are in a protected area where no bars, kiosks or buildings of any kind are allowed. If you feel like walking, you can follow this trail on the cliffs that will take you from this spectacular spot of nature back to the civilization. I personally have a soft spot for the area of Baleal because the actual town of Peniche is probably a better fit for families and older people. Here you can visit the Museum of the Fort and walk along the cliffs of Papoa. But it's in Baleal and the nearby town of Ferrel where I would definitely go as a young lone traveler. The vibe is way more fun and social. And the immense, uninterrupted coast really is something special. To be even more specific, I always choose the 33 Hostel for the accommodation because the owners take such a good care of guests with great attention to detail that the place feels more like a shared villa rather than a hostel. You will make friends there, it's guaranteed. I am a fan of off-season traveling, but if you come during summer, there is a couple of music festivals in Baleal and Ferrol. Last but not least, when sunset and the evening come, Baleal doesn't just go to sleep early. The beach bars turn into gatherings for the happy hour, And later in the night, if you fancy it, you can party and dance just above the beach of Baleal. And don't worry, because there is more activities to do in this area, so you will not get bored after just a couple of days. 20 kilometers away from Baleal, you can visit the Óbidos Castle, situated in an extremely picturesque small medieval town with shop after shop selling food, local delicacies and a liquor that you drink in a chocolate cup. During summer they also host a seriously fun medieval festival, and the food is amazing. That's to be expected almost anywhere in Portugal. Or if you want to see a gem in the gem, you could take a ferry from the Peniche port to the Berlengas island. You could do a half-day trip to enjoy the walking trails and go for a swim, or, because there's incredible waters there, you could make it a full-day trip and do scuba diving or spot dolphins. So in the end, there is basically no one that I wouldn't recommend this area of Portugal to. Next time you're after some tranquility on a really pristine beach, or maybe you want to experience the thrill of surfing, take a low-cost flight to Lisbon, then rent a car for cheap next to the airport, because there are a ton of options, and come here to enjoy this very underrated part of the Atlantic coast.